Peppa Goes Around the World. It was almost the start of the summer holidays. Peppa was playing in the garden with her friends.
What are you doing over the holidays?
Asked Wendy Wolf.
I'm going to the park,
replied Peppa. Peppa was very excited. She was going to spend the holidays jumping in lots of muddy puddles. Peppa's friends were going on holiday all around the world.
I'm going to the jungle,
said Pedro Pony.
We're going to the desert,
said Emily and Edmund Elephant.
And I'm going to the mountains,
barked Danny Dog.
What about you, Susie?
asked Peppa.
I'm off to the South Pole to play with the penguins,
Susie Sheep grinned. On the first day of the holidays, Peppa and George climbed into the car. Time to go to the park, said Mummy Pig. Let's go, cheered Daddy Pig. The little car chugged along the road. The engine went chugga chugga chugga, bang clank bonk. Oh dear, groaned Daddy Pig. The car has broken down. Mummy Pig called for help. Please come quick, she said. This is an emergency.
Look,
gasped Peppa.
Here comes Miss Rabbit's emergency breakdown service.
That was quick, said Mummy Pig. Miss Rabbit said it would take her all day to put things right.
But we want to go to the park,
cried Peppa. Don't worry, replied Miss Rabbit. While I fix your car, you can borrow my aeroplane.
Airplane,
George shouted. Everybody climbed into Miss Rabbit's aeroplane. Mummy Pig took the controls. This is fun, she said. Are we supposed to be flying upside down? Wondered Daddy Pig.
The ground is in the sky and the sky is on the ground,
giggled Peppa.
Meow.
It didn't take long for Mummy Pig to get the hang of the airplane flying. Next stop, the park, said Daddy Pig.
To jump in muddy puddles,
cried Peppa. Daddy Pig opened out his map.
Are we lost as usual?
asked Peppa. We are not lost, snorted Daddy Pig. I can see some trees. That must be the park.
Where are the swings and roundabouts?
asked Peppa. Said Daddy Pig. This looks more like a jungle than a park. Peppa gasped. Pedro was on holiday in the jungle. Mummy Pig pulled the handbrake and the plane fell through the trees, landing on the ground with a bump. Here was Pedro.
Hello, Pedro,
called Peppa.
Are you having a nice holiday?
Pedro nodded.
It's brilliant. There are parrots and monkeys and everything.
The jungle was fun, but there were no muddy puddles to jump in.
Can we visit my other friends on their holidays around the world?
asked Peppa. I don't see why not, said Mummy Pig. It was Daddy Pig's turn to fly the aeroplane. Where next? he said.
The mountains, said Peppa. That's where Danny Dog is.
Danny Dog was enjoying his mountain holiday. The best bit about climbing a mountain is that you're all alone, explained Captain Dog. There's no one else around. Daddy Pig landed the aeroplane at the top of the mountain, right in front of Danny and Captain Dog.
Hello, Danny,
shouted Peppa.
We're flying around the world to see my friends. This mountain is very high.
Peppa and her family said goodbye to Danny and Captain Dog and flew away again. Soon, Daddy Pig spotted lots of yellow sand in the distance. It must be the desert, he said.
That's where Emily and Edmund are on holiday,
cried Peppa. It wasn't easy to land an aeroplane in the desert.
We've sunk into the ground,
said Mummy Pig. Why do they have to fill the desert with so much sand? Cried Daddy Pig.
Hello, Emily,
shouted Peppa.
Hello, Edmund.
We've been studying a rare lizard, whispered Edmund. But it must be shy because it's run away. It had a scaly back and a long red tongue, added Emily.
Yuck,
said Mummy Pig. Lucky it ran off then. The lizard suddenly appeared on a rock. There it is, shouted Daddy Pig, frightening it away again. Didn't you say you had other people to visit? Sighed Dr. Elephant.
Yes,
said Peppa.
We still got to go and see Susie at the South Pole. Goodbye, everybody.
Susie was having a great holiday, but she did miss Peppa.
I wish Peppa was here,
Susie sighed. Peppa's aeroplane landed on the snow and ice.
Peppa!
cried Susie.
Susie!
cried Peppa. Peppa and Susie were best friends. They were very pleased to see each other again. Peppa had lots of fun with Susie and the penguins. But they couldn't play all day. Peppa still had to go to the park. Miss Rabbit should have fixed our car by now, said Mummy Pig. The aeroplane flew all the way back around the world.
Hello, Miss Rabbit,
said Peppa.
We've flown all around the world.
Good thing I remembered to fill the airplane's tank up with petrol this morning, said Miss Rabbit.
Your little car is working again,
said Miss Rabbit. Hooray! Peppa and George climbed inside.
Flying around the world was nice,
decided Peppa,
but something was missing. A muddy puddle!
Peppa and George loved jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles. The end. Daddy Pig loses his glasses. First words with Peppa Pig, level 4. Meet Peppa, George, Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig. Learn always, around, been, found, off, or, read, those, which, work, your. Read, bathroom, glasses, newspaper. Daddy Pig has glasses. He must put his glasses on, or he cannot see. If Daddy Pig does not put on his glasses, he cannot read. Daddy Pig has lost his glasses. He needs his glasses to read and to do his work.
You always take off your glasses and then you cannot find them, Daddy,
says Peppa. You will be sad until you have found those glasses, says Mummy Pig. I am always sadder without my glasses, said Daddy Pig. I need them to read and to do my work. Daddy Pig did not know where he took off his glasses. Which room have you been in? Asked Mummy Pig.
Have you been here, Daddy?
Asked Peppa. I do not know which rooms I have been in, said Daddy Pig.
We will look all around until we have found which room you left those glasses in,
said Peppa. It might be hard work. Daddy Pig takes off those glasses in lots of rooms, said Mummy Pig. Peppa and George went to look around. Peppa looked under the newspaper, but the glasses were not there.
I have not found your glasses yet,
said Peppa. George had a look around too. This was not the room in which Daddy Pig had left his glasses. I might have been in the bathroom, said Daddy Pig.
Daddy always takes off his glasses in the bathroom,
said Peppa. But she did not find Daddy's glasses in the bathroom. He had not been there. George looked around the bathroom too. That was not where Daddy Pig took off his glasses. Looking for the glasses was hard work.
We have looked around all of the rooms. We have not found your glasses. You did not take off your glasses here or in the bathroom,
said Peppa. I do not know which room I left those glasses in. Now I cannot read or work, said Daddy Pig. If I walk around with no glasses, I always bump into things, said Daddy Pig. He got up.
Daddy, I have found your glasses. You took them off and then you sat on them,
said Peppa. Thank you for all your hard work looking around, said Daddy Pig. You must not take off those glasses ever again, said Mummy Pig. The end. First words with Peppa Pig. Level 4. The very hot day. Meet Peppa, George, Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, and Miss Rabbit. Learn because, before, by, cold, fast, gave, right, these, use, very, would. Read hot day, ice cream, swimming costume, whale, paddling pool, dinosaur lollipop. It was a very hot day. Peppa and George went to play in the garden because it was so hot. You can use all the swimming costumes. You will not get cold, said Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig got the paddling pool. Hooray! Would you like to use the paddling pool because it is so hot? Said Daddy Pig.
Yes, please, fast,
said George. Before they got in, Daddy Pig had to put air in. I will use the pump as fast as I can, George, said Daddy Pig. Before they got in, they had to use the hose to fill it up. Mummy Pig gave Peppa the hose.
We can use this to fill the paddling pool right to the top, said Peppa.
Peppa filled the paddling pool with very cold water. It is filling up very fast, said Daddy Pig.
I think it will be too cold, said Peppa.
The paddling pool was not too cold. It was just right.
I am still very hot,
said Peppa.
I wish I could be cold.
Would you like to buy an ice cream to eat before lunch? Said Mummy Pig. We can buy one because it is so hot, said Daddy Pig.
You are right, Daddy. An ice cream will be very cold,
said Peppa. Peppa went to buy an ice cream from Miss Rabbit.
We would like to buy an ice cream, said Peppa. Would you like to buy one of these?
Asked Miss Rabbit.
Yes, please,
said Peppa. Miss Rabbit gave Peppa an ice cream.
These ice creams are very cold,
said Peppa.
Would you like to buy one of these dinosaur lollipops?
said Miss Rabbit.
Dinosaur,
said George. Miss Rabbit gave George a dinosaur lollipop. You must eat it very fast, because it will not be cold for very long, said Mummy Pig.
Thank you,
said George. George liked his dinosaur lollipop a lot. Eat the lollipop before it melts, George. It will not be cold for very long, said Mummy Pig. Mummy Pig was right. George's dinosaur lollipop did not keep cold. It melted because it was so hot. George felt very sad. He began to wail because he did not have a lollipop.
Don't wail, George. Mummy can put it right,
said Peppa. I will buy you one of these ice creams, but you must eat it before it melts, said Mummy Pig. Mummy Pig gave George an ice cream.
Hooray!
George ate the ice cream very fast. The end. First words with Peppa Pig. Level 4. Bedtime story. Meet Peppa, George, Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig. Learn. Both. Does. First. Sing. Sit. Sleep. Tell. There. Upon. Wash. Why. Wish. Write. Read. Dinosaur. Clock that tells the time. Diary. Castle. Bedtime story. Peppa as a princess. It was bedtime. First, Peppa and George both had a wash and brushed their teeth. Then they lay upon their beds. I can sing you both a song, or tell you both a story first. Then you can go to sleep, said Daddy Pig.
Tell us both a story first, please,
said Peppa.
I wish Daddy would tell us a story with a princess in it,
said Peppa.
Dinosaur,
said George.
Why does the story need a dinosaur?
asked Peppa. Well, why not? said Daddy Pig. I will do my best to tell you a story with both of them, if you wish. Once upon a time, said Daddy Pig. Sit down first, Daddy, said Mummy Pig. She got a chair for Daddy Pig to sit on. "Now you can tell them their story, Daddy," said Mummy Pig. "Once upon a time," said Daddy Pig.
Dinosaur,
Said George.
George,
Said Peppa. Daddy Pig began to tell the story again. Once upon a time, there was a princess. Every day, she had to sit and sing or just look out at the sun. She did not have fun. At the end of every day, the princess liked to sit down and write in her diary.
Wow.
why can I not have some fun?
Said the princess. The princess had to write something in her diary every day.
I wish that just one fun thing could happen,
Said the princess.
Dinosaur,
Said George. Yes, the story does have a dinosaur, said Daddy Pig.
why does it need a dinosaur?
Said Peppa. Wait and see what the dinosaur does, said Daddy Pig. Once upon a time, a dinosaur came to the castle.
Wow.
At last I can write the story of the dinosaur in my diary,
Said the princess. The princess got her diary to write in.
What a fun day. I liked it better than when I just sing or look out at the sun,
Said the princess. Then the princess wanted to go to sleep. First the princess had a wash and brushed her teeth. Then she lay upon the bed and went to sleep. Peppa and George both went to sleep in their beds too. What a good story, Daddy. You could write a book, says Mummy Pig. Yes, it would be a good book to write, said Daddy Pig. The end. Peppa Pig, babysitting. Mummy and Daddy Pig are going out for the evening. Granny and Grandpa Pig are babysitting Peppa and George.
Hooray!
Granny Pig, Grandpa Pig,
Says Peppa happily.
Daddy eat, Papa eat.
George joins in. Good night, says Daddy Pig. Good night, says Mummy Pig. Now go to sleep quickly. What little darlings, says Granny Pig, so well behaved. Peppa yawns and Daddy Pig switches off the bedroom light. Mummy and Daddy Pig leave for their evening out. Inside the house, Grandpa and Granny sit down on the sofa. They share a tasty pizza.
This babysitting is easy,
says Grandpa Pig. In the bedroom, Peppa does not want to go to sleep.
George, are you awake?
She whispers. George grunts excitedly. Peppa laughs. She climbs down the bunk bed ladder and switches on the bedroom light. George picks up a spotted ball and bounces it to Peppa. She bounces it back. They both giggle. Soon there are toys all over the floor. It is so hard to go to sleep when playing is much more fun. Grandpa Pig and Granny Pig are watching TV. Peppa and George come downstairs to the living room.
George and I are not sleepy at all,
Says Peppa.
Can we watch TV with you? I suppose watching a little TV might make you sleepy,
Says Granny Pig.
Hooray!
The TV show is about gardening.
This program is very boring, says Peppa, yawning. She suggests playing a game instead. Grandpa, can you throw us up and catch us? asked Peppa. OK, but just one turn each, says Grandpa. Peppa laughs as Grandpa Pig throws her in the air, then catches her. You seem heavier than before, says Grandpa Pig. Now it is George's turn, says Grandpa Pig. George loves feeling like he's flying. Hiya, hiya, shouts George, as Grandpa Pig starts to wheeze. Maybe Grandpa is a bit tired, says Granny Pig. Granny, let's play it, says Peppa. You're it. Peppa taps Granny Pig on the nose. Granny Pig chases Peppa, George and Grandpa Pig around the sofa. I'm going to catch you, she cries. Everyone runs and giggles. Later, Mummy and Daddy Pig arrive back home. I hope our little piggies are asleep, says Mummy Pig. Peppa, George, Grandpa Pig and Granny Pig are all snoring on the sofa. The little piggies are asleep, whispers Daddy Pig, and so are the big piggies. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Treehouse. Peppa and her family are visiting Granny and Grandpa Pig. I'm making you a tree house, says Grandpa Pig. I just need to finish the roof. Finished, says Grandpa Pig.
Hooray!
And I've made some curtains for the window, says Granny Pig. Thank you, Grandpa, thank you, Granny, cries Peppa. Peppa and George love their treehouse. Oh, who wants to go inside first? asked Grandpa Pig. Me, cry Peppa and George, jumping up and down. Peppa climbs up the ladder. Before I go inside the treehouse, I must take off my boots, she says. Peppa quickly kicks him off, and they land on the grass. Inside the treehouse, Peppa closes the door and pulls open the curtains.
Wow!
I'm in my treehouse, she shouts out of the window. George, do you want to go inside too? asked Daddy Pig. George nods. Peppa and George hear a knock at the door. Do you have any room for visitors? asked Mummy Pig. You have to say the secret words first. They are Daddy's big tummy, whispers Peppa. Mummy Pig says the words Daddy's big tummy and goes inside. I think we should have different secret words, says Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig tries to squeeze himself in, but he gets stuck. Your tummy is too big, says Peppa. Grandpa Pig has an idea. Daddy Pig can climb in through the top, he suggests.
Wow!
Grandpa Pig lifts off the roof and Daddy Pig climbs inside. Then he puts the roof back on.
Hooray!
Peppa and her family are all squashed inside. Everyone gets out apart from Peppa. Granny, I love our treehouse. I don't want to ever come out, she cries. Are you sure you don't want to visit me in my house? asks Granny Pig. No, thank you, says Peppa. In that case, Grandpa Pig and I will have to eat these homemade cookies all by ourselves, says Granny Pig, heading back to her house. Cookies! Cries Peppa. She runs to Granny Pig, who has a plate of yummy cookies. If you want some, you have to say the secret words, says Granny Pig. That's easy. Daddy's big tummy, cries Peppa. Granny gives Peppa a cookie. I still think those are very silly words, says Daddy Pig, taking a cookie too. The end. Peppa Pig, Emily Elephant. This is Peppa's friend Emily Elephant. Emily is very talented.
Wow.
Emily knows how to play the recorder. You can play, says Peppa, and I can dance. Emily has a long trunk. She uses it to reach up high. I can catch the basketball, shouts Emily. I like having you on my team, says Peppa. When Emily wants to see Peppa, all she has to do is give her a call. Wow, cries Peppa. That was loud. Sometimes Peppa goes out with Emily and her little brother Edmund. We're going walking today, says Emily. It's called hiking, says Edmund. Edmund is a bit of a clever clogs. Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Emily. When they first met, Emily was a little shy. But she is definitely not shy anymore. Peppa loves Emily Elephant. Everyone loves Emily Elephant. The end. Peppa Pig, Happy Hanukkah. Peppa and George are visiting their grandparents. Peppa smells something wonderful and potatoey. I'm making latkes, says Granny Pig. A latkes is a potato pancake. It's what people eat on Hanukkah.
Wow.
What Hanukkah? Peppa asks. Hanukkah is a festival of lights, replies Grandpa Pig. People celebrate the Festival of Lights all over the world. Tonight we will celebrate too. Long ago there wasn't any electricity, says Granny Pig. Do you know what uses electricity? Peppa thinks about it. Television, she says. That's right, Peppa. There wasn't any television. There weren't any light switches either. Back then, you needed fire to see in the dark. That gives Peppa an idea. Let's play a game, she tells George. We'll pretend we lived long ago when there was no electricity. Peppa turns the light switch off. It's dark. What can we do without light? Granny Pig asks. Peppa thinks about it. Then she gets an idea. We can make a fort. Together, Peppa and George find cushions, pillows and a blanket. They build a fort with all of their material.
Wow.
But just as Peppa is about to add the finishing touch, George knocks it down. George, Peppa says, that wasn't very nice. George giggles.
The pillows are everywhere. Oh no! Peppa can't see them because the lights are off.
I can't put the fort back together now,
Peppa says. Grandpa Pig has an idea.
Why don't we light a candle?
He asks. Grandpa Pig lights a candle and Peppa and George can see. Peppa and George start to put the fort back together.
Hooray!
But before they're done, the candle has burned through. Oh no!
It must have been very hard to live without electricity,
Peppa says. Granny Pig turns the lights back on.
Long ago, there was a light that lasted for 8 days,
she says.
We celebrate this miracle by lighting the candles on a menorah. It has 8 candles, and each night a new one is lit. Tonight is the 8th night of Hanukkah. So that means,
Grandpa Pig starts to say.
All the candles will be lit,
chimes Peppa. They also light the tallest candle in the middle. It is called the Helper.
Do you play any games on Hanukkah?
Peppa asks.
Yes,
Granny Pig says.
One of the games is called a dreidel. A dreidel is a spinning top. If you win, you get chocolates.
Hooray!
Peppa and George cheer. They like games. They like chocolate. Granny Pig gives every player a handful of chocolate coins. They each put one in the middle. Then she spins the dreidel. It lands on a little letter that is called a nun.
A nun means I don't get any chocolates,
Granny Pig explains.
Now it is the next player's turn.
Grandpa Pig spins the dreidel. He gets a letter called a shin.
Oh no!
Grandpa Pig grumbles.
A shin means I have to put a chocolate in. Go look, Peppa,
says Granny Pig.
What did the dreidel land on?
Peppa crawls under the table. It's a gimel.
That means you win all the chocolates in the middle,
Grandpa Pig says.
Hooray!
Peppa smiles.
I love Hanukkah, she says. Happy Hanukkah.
Hanukkah is the festival of lights. It is celebrated in the Hebrew month of Kislev, which usually falls in November or December. People celebrate Hanukkah in lots of different ways. They always celebrate the miracle of light. On Hanukkah, a special candle holder called a menorah is used. On the first night, only one candle is lit. On the second night, only 2. By the 8th night, all candles are lit. The candle in the middle of the menorah is called a shamash. That means helper in Hebrew. People use this candle to light the other ones from right to left. Many families eat latkes, jelly donuts and other food that's covered in oil to remember the oil that burned for 8 days. Families also play dreidel or spinning top. This can be played with candy, cookies or even gold coins. Some families also give gifts on each night of Hanukkah. Often those gifts include money or donations for those who need it. The end. Peppa Pig Garden Games. It is a lovely sunny day. Peppa and George are playing outside with Susie Sheep. Daddy Pig brings out a large box. It is full of garden games. Here you are, he says. Susie looks inside the box. She pulls out 3 wooden sticks.
Wow!
Juggle sticks,
she cries.
Watch me juggle.
Susie throws the sticks up into the air. They all land on the grass. Those aren't juggling sticks, laughs Daddy Pig. They are skittles. Daddy Pig stands the skittles up. Peppa throws a ball and tries to knock the skittles down.
Hooray! Shouts Peppa. I got 2.
Hooray!
Now it's Susie's turn.
This game is very hard, warns Peppa. You probably won't be able to do it.
Susie throws the ball. She knocks over all the skittles.
Wow!
Oh,
Says Peppa. George is too little for skittles. He wants to play bat and ball instead. Peppa can throw the ball, says Daddy Pig, and George has to bat it. George hits the ball. Susie catches it. Oh dear, George is out.
Oh no!
Poor George. He is too little for bat and ball. You just need a bit more practice, says Daddy Pig. Watch me. Daddy Pig bats the ball hard. Oops! It has gone all the way into the house. Mummy Pig is having a coffee in the kitchen. She is very surprised to see Daddy Pig. Can we have our ball back, please? He asks. Yes, says Mummy Pig, but please play more carefully in the future. Danny Dog comes to play in the garden too. Daddy Pig decides to start a new game. He gets 2 bars and a yellow pole out of the box.
what's that?
Says Peppa. Limbo, replies Daddy Pig.
Wow!
He turns on some music, leans backwards, then walks underneath the pole. Daddy Pig makes the pole lower, but this time he can't walk underneath it.
Your tummy is too big,
Giggles Peppa.
My turn,
Says Danny. Danny, Peppa, Susie and George all walk under the pole. Now we'll make the pole even lower, says Daddy Pig.
Easy,
Giggles Peppa. But this time, when Peppa tries, the pole falls down.
It's impossible,
She decides.
Nobody can walk under that.
The pole is very, very low, says George. He wants to have a go.
Wow,
Shouts Danny.
George can do it.
George is the best at limbo because he is so little. Well done, George. The end. Peppa Goes Around the World. It was almost the start of the summer holidays. Peppa was playing in the garden with her friends.
What are you doing over the holidays?
Asked Wendy Wolf.
I'm going to the park,
Replied Peppa. Peppa was very excited. She was going to spend the holidays jumping in lots of muddy puddles. Peppa's friends were going on holiday all around the world.
I'm going to the jungle.
Said Pedro Pony.
We're going to the desert.
Said Emily and Edmund Elephant.
And I'm going to the mountains.
Barked Danny Dog.
What about you, Susie?
Asked Peppa.
I'm off to the South Pole to play with the penguins.
Susie Sheep grinned. On the first day of the holidays, Peppa and George climbed into the car. "Time to go to the park," said Mummy Pig. "Let's go," cheered Daddy Pig. The little car chugged along the road. The engine went chugga chugga chugga, bang clank bonk. "Oh dear," groaned Daddy Pig. "The car has broken down." Mummy Pig called for help. "Please come quick," she said. "This is an emergency." "Look," gasped Peppa. "Here comes Miss Rabbit's emergency breakdown service." "That was quick," said Mummy Pig. Miss Rabbit said it would take her all day to put things right. "But we want to go to the park," cried Peppa. "Don't worry," replied Miss Rabbit. "While I fix your car, you can borrow my aeroplane." "Airplane!" George shouted. Everybody climbed into Miss Rabbit's aeroplane. Mummy Pig took the controls. "This is fun," she said. "Are we supposed to be flying upside down?" wondered Daddy Pig. "The ground is in the sky and the sky is on the ground," giggled Peppa. Meow. It didn't take long for Mummy Pig to get the hang of the airplane flying. "Next stop, the park," said Daddy Pig. "To jump in muddy puddles," cried Peppa. Daddy Pig opened out his map. "Are we lost as usual?" asked Peppa. "We are not lost," snorted Daddy Pig. "I can see some trees. That must be the park." "Where are the swings and roundabouts?" asked Peppa. Said Daddy Pig. "This looks more like a jungle than a park." Peppa gasped. Pedro was on holiday in the jungle. Mummy Pig pulled the handbrake and the plane fell through the trees, landing on the ground with a bump. Here was Pedro. "Hello, Pedro," called Peppa. "Are you having a nice holiday?" Pedro nodded. "It's brilliant. There are parrots and monkeys and everything." The jungle was fun, but there were no muddy puddles to jump in. "Can we visit my other friends on their holidays around the world?" asked Peppa. "I don't see why not," said Mummy Pig. It was Daddy Pig's turn to fly the aeroplane. "Where next?" he said. "The mountains," said Peppa. "That's where Danny Dog is." Danny Dog was enjoying his mountain holiday. "The best bit about climbing a mountain is that you're all alone," explained Captain Dog. "There's no one else around." Daddy Pig landed the aeroplane at the top of the mountain, right in front of Danny and Captain Dog. "Hello, Danny," shouted Peppa. "We're flying around the world to see my friends. This mountain is very high." Peppa and her family said goodbye to Danny and Captain Dog and flew away again. Soon, Daddy Pig spotted lots of yellow sand in the distance. "It must be the desert," he said. "That's where Emily and Edmund are on holiday," cried Peppa. It wasn't easy to land an aeroplane in the desert. We've sunk into the ground, said Mummy Pig. Why do they have to fill the desert with so much sand? Cried Daddy Pig.
Hello, Emily, shouted Peppa. Hello, Edmund.
We've been studying a rare lizard, whispered Edmund. But it must be shy because it's run away. It had a scaly back and a long red tongue, added Emily. Yuck, said Mummy Pig. Lucky it ran off then. The lizard suddenly appeared on a rock. There it is, shouted Daddy Pig, frightening it away again. Did you say you had other people to visit? Sighed Dr. Elephant.
Yes, said Peppa. We still got to go and see Susie at the South Pole. Goodbye, everybody.
Susie was having a great holiday, but she did miss Peppa.
I wish Peppa was here, Susie sighed.
Peppa's aeroplane landed on the snow and ice.
Peppa!
Cried Susie.
Susie!
Cried Peppa. Peppa and Susie were best friends. They were very pleased to see each other again. Peppa had lots of fun with Susie and the penguins. But they couldn't play all day. Peppa still had to go to the park. Miss Rabbit should have fixed our car by now, said Mummy Pig. The aeroplane flew all the way back around the world.
Hello, Miss Rabbit,
said Peppa.
We've flown all around the world.
Good thing I remembered to fill the airplane's tank up with petrol this morning, said Miss Rabbit. Your little car is working again, said Miss Rabbit.
Hooray!
Peppa and George climbed inside.
Flying around the world was nice, decided Peppa, but something was missing. A muddy puddle!
Peppa and George loved jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles. The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa visits the Great Barrier Reef. Peppa is on holiday in Australia, visiting her friend Kylie Kangaroo.
Wow!
I love it at your house, Kylie,
says Peppa. I could stay here forever, decides Daddy Pig.
It's great having you stay,
says Mrs. Kangaroo.
but I have to go to work today.
Mrs. Kangaroo is a marine biologist. She studies creatures that live in the sea.
Do creatures in the sea have bridges to swim through and treasure to play with?
Wonders Peppa. No, snorts Daddy Pig. That's just the stuff that people put in fish tanks. Mrs. Kangaroo takes everyone down to the beach. She points to the sea. This, she says, is my office.
How can you work in the sea?
Asks Peppa.
With this submarine,
says Mrs. Kangaroo. Hop in. The submarine goes down deep under the water. Peppa gasps.
It's all the colours of the rainbow.
That is coral, says Mrs. Kangaroo. It's made of lots and lots of tiny creatures. We call it the Great Barrier Reef.
Wow!
The coral is very pretty. Peppa would like to take some home. We must never ever take anything away from here, says Miss Kangaroo.
The reef is home to lots of sea creatures, explains Kylie. Look!
Giant turtle swims up to say hello.
There's a little bridge, says Peppa. Just like in the fish tank.
Except there's no treasure chest, of course, chuckles Daddy Pig. George spots something in the sand. Mrs. Kangaroo blinks. It's a chest full of gold coins. George has found a treasure chest. The submarine carefully picks it up.
Wait, cries Peppa. We must never ever take anything away from the reef.
Only natural things, says Miss Kangaroo. These gold coins don't belong here. Mr. Kangaroo loads the treasure chest onto the camper van.
These gold coins will pay for lots more marine research,
says Kylie. Mrs. Kangaroo smiles. That was a good day at the office.
Yes,
snorts Peppa.
It was.
The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa in space. It was Space Day at Playgroup. Peppa and her friends were very excited. Does anyone know what space is? Asked Madame Gazelle. Space is a physical universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere, said Edmund Elephant. Edmund was a bit of a clever clogs.
Wow.
That's right, Edmund, said Madame Gazelle, and today we are going to talk about something you'll find in space. The moon! Shouted all the children. Yes, said Madame Gazelle. Can I live on the moon? Asked Danny Dog. It is possible, replied Madame Gazelle, but you would need to take oxygen, water, and lots of other things with you. Can you jump in muddy puddles on the moon? Asked Peppa. No, said Madame Gazelle. There is no rain to make puddles. What can we do on the moon then? Asked Peppa. You'll soon find out, said Madame Gazelle, because today we are going to the moon, shouted Pedro Pony. Not exactly, said Madame Gazelle. We're going to the space station. Oh, sighed the children. At the museum you will train to be astronauts, said Madame Gazelle, and see what it's like to walk on the moon.
Wow.
Wow! Gasped the children. Miss Rabbit arrived to take everyone to the Space Museum.
Hooray!
Really, we should be going there in a moon buggy, said Danny. Not a bus. How long till we get there? Asked Peppa. As long as it takes you to finish your apple, replied Miss Rabbit. I finished my apple, said Susie Sheep. Does that mean we're there? How about we sing a song for Miss Rabbit, suggested Madame Gazelle. Something like... But before Madame Gazelle could finish, all the children started to sing. We're going to the moon, will we get there soon? And they sang it to Miss Rabbit all the way to the museum. When they arrived at the museum, the children were met by a real astronaut, Grampy Rabbit. Hello there, fellow astronauts, he boomed. Our space training mission today will take us to the moon.
Wow.
The ride may be bumpy, but it will be worth it when you get to see what it's like to walk on the moon. Hooray! Cheered the children. The children put on their special spacesuits and boots as quickly as they could. It's time to hop on board our spacecraft, called Grampy Rabbit when they were ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Blast off! Cheered all the little astronauts together. Grampy Rabbit and the children zoomed off on their training mission. On their way to the moon, Grampy Rabbit told the children all about the different planets in the solar system.
Wow!
There's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the dwarf planet Pluto, he said. Robots have landed on Mars, but no one else has done so yet. George was listening very carefully. Mars, he whispered to himself. We have landed on the moon, said Grampy Rabbit. Now, my little astronauts, it's time for you to see what it's like to walk on the moon. Just take one small step out of the spacecraft and one... Peppa and her friends all took giant leaps out of the spacecraft wearing Grampy Rabbit's anti-gravity rubber bands. The children had so much fun bouncing up and down with the anti-gravity rubber bands. They sang a song over and over again. Listen to our space tune, we're going to the moon. Wow, gasped Peppa, bouncing over Madame Gazelle's head. Walking on the moon is great, but jumping up and down on it is even better. It's time to get down to Earth now, children, called Grampy Rabbit. Oh, sighed the children. When they arrived back on Earth, the children were sad. Remember, children, your adventure isn't really over, said Grampy Rabbit. It's just the beginning. If you keep training, you can be real astronauts like me one day.
Wow!
Yay! We're going to the moon! Sang the children, and they sang it on the bus all the way back to playgroup. Space is amazing, Daddy, said Peppa that night. I want to be an astronaut so I can jump up and down on the moon every day. But George had set his sights on somewhere else. Mars, he whispered. Ah, said Daddy Pig. Are you going to be the first piggy on Mars, George? George nodded his head and smiled. That night, George dreamt he had gone into space with Peppa, and they were the first little piggies ever to jump up and down on Mars. The end. Peppa Pig Peppa learns French. The phone rings at Peppa's house. It is Monsieur Donkey. He is speaking French. Luckily, Mummy Pig can speak French.
Wow!
He asked if little Delphine Donkey could visit us, says Mummy Pig. Delphine is Peppa's pen pal. Peppa and her family arrive at the railway station.
That's Delphine's train, says Peppa excitedly.
Last stop, all change terminus. Tout le monde descend, shouts Miss Rabbit, the train driver. Delphine gets off the train. Monsieur Donkey gets off too. He is carrying an enormous case.
Hello, Delphine,
Says Peppa.
Bonjour, Peppa,
Says Delphine Doggy. Peppa, bonjour means hello in French, says Mummy Pig. Monsieur Donkey drops the enormous case on the ground. Bonjour, Monsieur Donkey, says Daddy Pig. My goodness, is that huge case Delphine's?
Yes, Delphine has brought a few little things for her visit, says Monsieur Donkey. Things you do not have over here. Cheese, bread, tomatoes.
Monsieur Donkey loads the huge case on top of Peppa's car. It is very heavy.
Au revoir, Delphine. I will be back to pick you up tomorrow night,
says Monsieur Donkey.
Au revoir, Papa,
says Delphine.
Peppa.
Au revoir means goodbye in French, explains Mummy Pig.
Wow.
After dinner, it's time to go to bed. Peppa and Delphine want to share a bed. Good night, little ones, says Daddy Pig.
Dormez bien,
whispers Mummy Pig.
Peppa. Dormez bien means sleep well in French.
Peppa and Delphine can't sleep.
I'm not sleepy at all,
says Peppa.
Let's sing a little song to make us sleepy,
says Delphine.
Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonne les matines, ding dang dong,
sings Delphine. Delphine's French song has sent Peppa and George to sleep. The next day, Delphine visits Peppa's playground.
Madame Gazelle, this is my French friend Delphine,
says Peppa.
She sang a French song last night. Can we teach her an English song?
How about the Bing Bong song? Suggests Danny Dog. Madame Gazelle plays her guitar.
Oh, we're playing a tune and we're singing a song with a bing and a bong and a bing. Bong, bing, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo,
sings Madame Gazelle.
Bong, bing, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo,
sing the children. Delphine has learned lots of new English words. Bing, bong, bingly, bungly, and boo. The end. Peppa Pig and the Day at the Museum. At breakfast, Mummy and Daddy Pig have a surprise. We have a special day planned, says Mummy Pig. We're going to a museum.
What is a museum?
asked Peppa. It's a place full of interesting things. Sometimes those things are very old, says Daddy.
Older than you?
asked Peppa. Yes, says Daddy. Even older than me. Here we are, says Mummy Pig.
The museum is very big,
says Peppa.
Ew,
says George. Mummy and Daddy Pig buy tickets from Miss Rabbit.
What would you like to see first?
asks Miss Rabbit.
Jewels,
cries Peppa.
Dinosaur,
says George. First stop is the King's and Queen's room.
Wow.
It is full of things from long ago. Peppa likes the beautiful robes. And look, there's a crown. There's a throne too. Peppa wishes she could sit on it. She imagines what it would be like to be the Queen, to wear the crown and sit on the royal throne.
If I were the Queen, she says, I would eat cake every day.
The family bows to Her Royal Highness, Queen Peppa. George does not want to wear a crown and sit on the throne. He wants to see dinosaurs. George stands at the doorway to the dinosaur room. There are many unusual creatures here.
Everything is so big,
Says Peppa in a very big voice.
Ugh.
Says George in a very small voice. George sees a big dinosaur. Don't worry, says Daddy. Those are just dinosaur bones. They may be bones, but they are very big. George can just imagine what it would be like to be a dinosaur. He would be bigger than Peppa. He could chase her. George sees something smaller and not very scary. It's a robot dinosaur. Everyone is hungry, so they go to the museum cafe for a cake. After the snack, it's time to see the next exhibit. There's a special one at the museum today, says Mummy Pig. It's all about space. George's friend Edmund is at the museum too. Edmund knows a lot about space. He and George wear space helmets to tour the exhibit. Miss Rabbit gives him their tickets. First, everyone gets on board the space ride.
Wow.
Blast off, says Mr. Rabbit. He is a tour guide.
This is just pretend, isn't it?
Asks Peppa. Yes, says Mr. Rabbit. It's just pretend. The rocket takes him to the pretend moon. There are pretend planets too. Do you know what the planets are made of? Asks Mr. Rabbit.
Cardboard,
Says Peppa. Well, these models are made out of cardboard, but the real planets are made out of other things.
rock and ice and gas.
Says Edmund. What about cheese? I thought the moon was made out of cheese,
That's just silly, Daddy.
says Peppa. If this was the real moon, you could jump over my head, says Mr. Rabbit. Do you know why?
There's less gravity.
Yells Edmund. You are right. We can make you feel like you are on the moon with these special big rubber bands. Everybody straps into the rubber bands. They jump. Boing, boing, boing. Just like on the moon. Miss Rabbit takes her picture. At the gift shop, Peppa gets a picture of everyone jumping on the pretend moon. Daddy is hungry again, so he gets a piece of moon cheese. Then it's time to go home. It has been a great day at the museum. Later, Mummy Pig asked Peppa and George, what was your favourite thing at the museum? Peppa liked everything at the museum, but she does have a favourite.
The crown.
says Peppa. George liked the space ride, but that wasn't his favourite,
Dinosaur,
says George. I have two favourites, says Daddy Pig. The cake and the cheese. The end. Peppa Pig Peppa plays basketball. It is a lovely sunny day. Peppa and her friends are in the playground. Children, says Madame Gazelle, today we have a special person coming to teach you basketball. Daddy Pig walks into the playground. Hello, everyone.
Daddy, snorts Peppa. It isn't home time yet. We've got a special teacher coming.
That's me, says Daddy Pig. I'm the coach, explains Daddy Pig. A basketball teacher is called a coach. Daddy Pig spins the ball on his finger.
That's clever, Daddy.
Peppa, says Daddy Pig, call me coach. Daddy Coach blows his whistle. In basketball, you bounce the ball with your hands, he says. Everyone try. The children practice bouncing the ball up and down the playground. Throw the ball through the hoop, shouts Daddy Coach. Oops! George throws the ball the wrong way. He still needs a bit more training. Daddy Coach decides it is time to play a game. Split into two teams, he says. The girls are in one team and the boys are in the other.
It's not fair,
says Pedro Pony.
We've got little ones on our team.
Don't worry, says Danny Dog.
The boys' team will still win.
The game starts. Emily catches the ball with her trunk. She is very good at reaching up high with her trunk.
That's not fair,
says Peppa. Shh, whispered Susie Sheep.
She's on our side. Oh yes, it is fair,
decides Peppa.
We want Emily in our team,
shouts Pedro Pony. No arguing, says Daddy Coach. You can all be on the same team. The children get into one big team.
But who will we play?
asks Peppa. Says Daddy Coach. Well... The parents arrive to take the children home. I know, snorts Daddy Coach. You can play the grown-ups.
But they're bigger than us,
cries Danny Dog. Ah, nods Daddy Coach. But you've been taught basketball by Daddy Coach.
Yes, calls Peppa. Let's play.
All right, shout the grown-ups. George tackles Mr. Elephant, then passes to Zoe Zebra. Zoe passes to Richard Rabbit. Richard passes the ball to Peppa, who throws it through the hoop. The final whistle blows. The basketball game is over. Everybody cheers.
Hooray!
Children's team has won.
And it's all thanks to Daddy Coach,
says Peppa. The end. Peppa Pig Peppa plays football. It is a sunny day and Peppa Pig and Susie Sheep are playing tennis.
To you, Susie,
cheers Peppa, hitting the ball. Now it is Susie's turn.
To you, Peppa,
she cries, hitting the ball. Straight over Peppa's head. Oh dear. George feels a bit left out.
Sorry, George. says Peppa. You can't play tennis. We only have 2 rackets. George can be the ball boy,
jeers Susie.
Being a ball boy is a very important job, George,
says Peppa. Peppa and Susie are having lots of fun, but they keep missing the ball.
Ball boy,
they shout together. George is not having fun. He keeps running to get the ball, and he is very tired.
Hello everyone,
cries Peppa when her friends arrive.
We're playing tennis. Can we play too?
asks Danny Dog.
There aren't enough rackets,
replies Susie Sheep.
Let's play football then,
says Danny Dog.
Football, hooray!
Everyone cheers.
We can play girls against boys,
says Peppa.
Each team needs a goalkeeper,
says Danny Dog.
Me,
shouts Pedro Pony.
me,
cries Rebecca Rabbit. Pedro Pony and Rebecca Rabbit decide to be the goalkeepers.
The boys' team will start,
says Danny Dog. Richard Rabbit gets the ball and runs very fast right by Peppa, Susie Sheep and Candy Cat and straight up to the...
Goal!
cry Danny and Pedro together as Richard Rabbit kicks the ball straight past Rebecca Rabbit and into the net.
The boy is a winner!
cheers Danny Dog.
That's not fair. We weren't ready,
moans Peppa. Rebecca Rabbit picks up the ball and runs.
Hey!
shouts Danny Dog.
That's cheating. You can't hold the ball. Yes, I can,
says Rebecca.
I'm the goalkeeper.
Rebecca throws the ball into the goal straight past Pedro Pony.
Goal!
she cries.
That goal is not allowed,
says Pedro.
Yes, it is,
says Peppa.
No, it isn't,
barks Danny Dog. What a lot of noise, snorts Daddy Pig. I'll be the referee. The next team to get a goal will win the game. Richard Rabbit and George run off with the football while everyone is still talking.
Where's the ball?
asks Peppa. But it's too late. Richard Rabbit kicks the ball straight into the goal past Pedro Pony.
Hooray! The boys win!
says Danny.
Football is a silly game,
cries Peppa, disappointed. Just a moment, says Daddy Pig. The boys scored in their own goal. That means the girls win.
Really?
gasps all the girls.
Hooray! Football is a great game,
cheers Peppa. Everyone laughs. The end. Peppa Pig Sports Day. Today is School Sports Day. Peppa and her friends are all here. First event is running. The children have to run as fast as they can. Ready, steady, go, says Madame Gazelle. Susie and Peppa are chatting about who can run the fastest. Rebecca Rabbit is in the lead. Peppa and Susie are right at the back. Rebecca Rabbit wins the race. Hooray! Everyone cheers. Peppa and Susie are last. It's not the winning that matters, Daddy Pig reminds them, but the taking part. The next event is the long jump, says Madame Gazelle. George and Richard Rabbit have to run and then jump as far as they can. Whoever jumps the furthest is the winner. Ready, steady, go! Oh dear, Richard Rabbit has jumped further than George. Hooray! Shout all his friends. George is not happy.
Remember, George, says Peppa, it's not the winning that matters, but the taking part. The next race is the relay. Daddy Pig is in the lead. He hands the baton to Peppa. Thank you, Daddy. You did very well. Now it is my turn, begins Peppa. Stop talking and run, snorts Daddy Pig. Emily Elephant is the winner. Everyone cheers. Hooray! Peppa comes in last. She is not feeling happy. It is the last event of the day, the tug of war. Boys against girls. The girls will win, snorts Peppa. Oh, no, they won't, says Danny. Everyone is pulling so hard the rope breaks. The result is a draw. Both teams win, says Madame Gazelle. Everybody cheers. Hooray! I love school sports day, snorts Peppa, especially when I win a prize. The end.
Peppa Pig. Peppa plays cricket. Peppa and George are in the garden. Susie Sheep has come to play. Hello, says Susie. Daddy Pig is looking after the children. He finds his sun hat and turns on the radio. What a lovely day, says Daddy Pig. I'll sit here so I can watch you.
Daddy, calls Peppa, are you asleep?
Huh? Sputters Daddy Pig. Of course not. I was listening to the cricket.
It must be very boring if it makes you go to sleep,
says Susie. Daddy Pig shakes his head. He loves cricket. Daddy Pig fetches a bat and ball and some sticks.
What are those for?
asks Peppa. Cricket, says Daddy Pig. I'm going to show you how to play. Peppa, George and Susie cheer. Hooray! Daddy Pig pushes 3 big sticks into the ground, then rests 2 little sticks on top. This is the wicket, says Daddy Pig.
Wicket!
laughs George, knocking the sticks over. Daddy Pig puts them back up again. The wicket is important in cricket. Daddy Pig gives the ball to Peppa. She is going to be the bowler. Lift the ball up high, says Daddy Pig, then run along the grass and let go. Whee! laughs Peppa.
Oh!
Peppa runs so fast she forgets to let go. Daddy Pig shows George how to swing the bat. Bowl again, please, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. Peppa lifts the ball up high, runs and lets go. George swings the bat and knocks over the wicket. Never mind, George, says Daddy Pig. I'll help you swing the bat. George keeps trying with Daddy Pig's help. Pop! He hits the ball. Catch it, Susie! shouts Daddy Pig. Susie jumps up and catches the ball. Mammy Pig calls everyone inside. It is tea time. Cricketers always stop for tea, says Daddy Pig. And sandwiches and cake. Cake! Here's George. George loves cricket. Everyone loves cricket. The end. Peppa Pig, play ball. Today the children will play ball. But first they must practice. Peppa throws the ball to Susie. Susie catches it. Susie throws the ball to Danny. Danny fetches it. Danny throws the ball to George. But George doesn't catch it.
Oh no!
George is not very good at catching. Practice is over. Everyone takes their positions to play ball. Now the game will begin. Peppa throws the ball and Susie hits it with her bat. Then Susie runs around the cones. She wins 1 point. Next, it is George's turn to play.
I think George is too young to play,
Peppa says.
You're never too young to play,
Madame Gazelle replies. George surprises everyone by hitting the ball. He wins a point. Now it is Madame Gazelle's turn.
Aren't you too old to play, Madame Gazelle?
Asked Peppa.
You're never too old to play,
Madame Gazelle says. Madame Gazelle swings the bat hard.
Wow!
The ball flies over the tree. The children run after it. Madame Gazelle is fast. She runs around the cones.
That's 1 point,
she says.
Hooray!
The ball flies all the way to the school and the children run after it. Then it bounces off the roof and flies the other way. Madame Gazelle runs around the cones again.
I'm scoring so many points,
she says.
Hooray!
The ball zooms back to the field. The children try to catch the ball, but they end up in a big pile.
Did you catch the ball, Susie?
Peppa asks.
No,
Susie says.
Did you catch the ball, Freddy?
Peppa asks.
No,
Freddy says. Rebecca doesn't have it either.
Who caught the ball?
George caught the ball.
Oh, I lose all my points. Well done, George, says Madame Gazelle.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Cheers, Peppa. Everyone can play ball after all. The end. Peppa's gym class. Peppa and her friends are going to the gym today. Everybody has got their gym kit on, except Pedro. Pedro is wearing a superhero costume.
I thought he was dressing up day today,
he says. Grumpy Rabbit is the gym teacher. He swings down from the top of the climbing frame.
Wow!
Do we have to do that?
Gasps Emily Elephant. No! Laughs Grumpy Rabbit. That's only for big athletes like me! Let's warm up, shouts Grumpy Rabbit. Stretch, stretch, stretch! Everybody reaches up to the ceiling. Now wobble like a jelly, says Grumpy Rabbit. Everybody shakes like a jelly on a plate. Hee hee! It is time for the first adventure. I want you to pretend that this room is a jungle, whispers Grumpy Rabbit.
But where are the trees?
asks Susie Sheep. You'll have to pretend, replies Grumpy Rabbit. Now imagine a river, says Grumpy Rabbit. Walk on this beam to get across it. Peppa and her friends tiptoe across the river. Well done, my little explorers, cheers Grumpy Rabbit. Grumpy Rabbit shows the children how to swing across a swamp full of crocodiles. That's what he did when he was in the jungle. I can't see any crocodiles, says Pedro.
You've got to pretend,
Whispers Peppa.
What's our next adventure?
Asks Danny Dog. Grampy Rabbit points to a funny table. This is a vault, he says. Pretend that it's a dinosaur and crawl through its legs. Peppa and her friends start crawling. Madame Gazelle comes back in. Did you have a good gym class, children? She asks.
Yes,
Cries Peppa.
we made it through the jungle.
You are real little explorers now, laughs Grumpy Rabbit. The end. Peppa loves yoga. It's been a very busy morning at playgroup. Peppa and her friends have been playing their instruments, dressing up in all the fancy dressed clothes, and making all the messiest crafts.
What are we going to do next, Madame Gazelle?
Asked Peppa. I have a special surprise for you, says Madame Gazelle. Oh, gasp the children. Miss Rabbit is coming to do some yoga with us, says Madame Gazelle. Hooray! Everyone cheers. What's yoga? Asks Rebecca Rabbit. Yoga is a way of relaxing, says Madame Gazelle.
What's relaxing?
Asked Danny Dog, bouncing up and down. It's a bit like having a rest, Danny, says Madame Gazelle. It's very good to do, especially after a busy morning like ours. Just then the playgroup doorbell rings. Bring, bring.
There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door.
The children sing loudly. Hello, Miss Rabbit, says Madame Gazelle. The children jump up and down excitedly. Namaste, says Miss Rabbit, putting her hands together and bowing slowly. That is how we say hello before yoga. Peppa and her friends stop jumping.
Namaste.
They repeat and slowly bow towards Miss Rabbit.
First, we must all sit on our mats,
said Miss Rabbit. Everyone sits down.
Now,
Miss Rabbit says,
touch your fingers and thumbs together and close your eyes.
Then everyone breathes slowly through their noses to the count of 3.
1, 2, 3,
says Miss Rabbit.
Phew,
breathe the children.
Now, let's try tree pose,
says Miss Rabbit.
Stand on one leg and be as still as a tree.
Everyone copies Miss Rabbit perfectly. Well, almost everyone.
Next, put your leg forward and bend into a warrior pose,
says Miss Rabbit.
I think this one is like being a surfer.
Everyone moves forward. They love being surfers.
You'll like this one, Danny,
says Miss Rabbit, putting her hands on the floor and lifting her tail into the air.
It's the downward dog.
Then Miss Rabbit stretches up like a snake.
And this one is called the cobra pose.
Finally, Miss Rabbit lowers her voice and whispers softly.
Now we must rest. Lie down on your backs while I count very slowly. 1, 2, 3.
It's time for the children's parents to pick them up. goes the doorbell, but none of the children makes a sound. They are all fast asleep. We've been doing some yoga, Madame Gazelle explains. It looks very relaxing, says Daddy Pig. Yoga is relaxing, says Madame Gazelle. I think we should do it every day. Madame Gazelle loves yoga. Everyone loves yoga. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.